Hello, hello, and welcome. Welcome to what's coming next for August. Hello, I'm Gia Prism. I was just talking to our attendees, our live attendees before hitting the record. I am ideating on some really, really exciting 4am Club community experiences, both online, in person. They're all just ideas right now. So I'm not going to spill any details until I really lock in. But I'm feeling so energized and so excited for the movement going forward. And as much as I am absolutely here for politics, there is a whole world outside of that I'm so excited to get more into. And whether I'm assisting people in their spiritual journey or it's more about, hey, we just need a place to be us outside of TikTok, make it real. There's so many really beautiful things I want to expand and explore and bring y'all along for the journey. So thank you all for being here, both in this session, in the recording, and just for the journey. This has been life-changing. This has been incredible for me to experience, and I'm so honored to have so many people along for the ride. So thank you very much. I am going to give a really quick explainer for anyone getting this recording who hasn't been here before, and anyone who's here in session and wants the detail. Sorry, I keep bumping my computer. Wants the details of how all this is going to work. So, hold on one second. Not sure why I'm doing that, but okay. So hello and welcome. I'm Gia Prism. I am a psychic medium. I am a trance channel, and I am a healer. And I am the accidental founder of the 4am Club and leading this community. I always call it my corner of the community because there are so many incredible creators and members to this community. I certainly don't own all of it, but it absolutely has been a full-time job for me ever since November. And these sessions are an outpouring of that. I began doing these sessions in March when things really started picking up energy wise and things started happening politically. And I was struggling to figure, okay, what do I need to make in the videos with Spirit? What do they need to know? And they said, do an event, just do an event, do it live, bring everyone together as though we are all a client and this is a group session. What are the energies like? What's coming? And it's so fascinating because over the months that I've been doing these, every single session is so wildly different. And I don't know if I have anyone here who's watched them all. I've watched them all multiple times. And I find that as prescient and of the moment as they are, because most of the material is channeled, it takes on new meaning, new layers, the more you listen to it and as time goes on. So it has been a really incredible experience. Elf Mom has watched them all and can corroborate. Thank you. It's so fascinating being a channel because I have to kind of remove myself from it, but at the same time, it's funneling through me and I have to interpret and share what I'm getting. So I have the experience both live and in the moment of what's coming through. And then later, when I'm out of that energy and I listen to it as a participant, it's so wild to me what has come through. And now, especially that I'm looking back and reviewing both older videos on TikTok and YouTube and what I've brought through in these sessions, um, man, I was spot on, guys. Like I was spot on. And as much as I knew that in the moment, and those of you who are intuitive, you'll understand this. When you're in the moment and you're open and spirit is giving you something, it's like, yes, of course. But then we kind of close down and we go back to real life and we kind of forget or we're in a different energy. And then it's easy for doubt to come in or fear or sadness, like maybe we're not going to get there. Maybe I misunderstood. And so to then, all these months later, as all the things have been happening, to see how it unfolded exactly as Spirit said it would, even on November 4th, before the election, when I saw that this is the divine feminine movement and it's about people rising up and it's about people awakening through political activism. And that is so much of what we had, in addition to things that I shared about like MAGA's waking up and people starting to see through the illusion because of this and all these different things. So it feels so incredible to, I haven't really had to pivot too much because I've been pretty spot on from the beginning. And so that's always great as we all have come together with all of our predictions, whether it's you as creators, you just as your own intuitive private people, maybe sharing comments or just your own intuition. We really have been tapped in to what's been unfolding, and we've gotten to watch it unfold as we've been along. So in these sessions, what I do in these sessions, I basically just open up and let her rip. So it's a little, you're gonna watch my ADHD really shine, which, by the way, if you're a neurodivergent and a psychic, fantastic. You are my people. It is that neurodivergent way of being in different realities and having different streams of information at once, what makes it so good. And so as much as I ask questions and peer into certain things, I'm really kind of along for the ride. And I have no idea what's going to come through. I can't control it. I'm not creating it. I'm delivering it as it's coming through. And so I will look and ask your questions, but or answer your questions, but I'm following spirit. And so as a medium, what that looks like is I will receive insights from guides, guardians, different people. Many times I've actually had the higher self of Kamala Harris step in. It's like her spirit, her soul has stepped in several times to give insights and information. Last month was really cool. We had this new collective of beings who are waiting to be born, and they're like the wrecking crew, and they kind of describe themselves as consultants. They're called in when a company needs a major overhaul. And so they were like, you're good, quit being sad, like tear it all down, we're ready. So it's really exciting. We get something different every time. Sometimes I actually will channel. Sometimes it's in trance where I'm more relaxed in their speaking. Sometimes it's that hybrid of I'm delivering what they're telling me as fast as I can, and so it comes through channeled. So we're just along for the ride. We're along for the ride. It's a good time. And what's really fun about doing sessions for intuitive people is that you're getting it too. You are experiencing it too. It's a multi-sensory experience. There's chills, there's tears. Some people get yawny and sleepy as the energies pour in. It's a full body experience. So it's a lot, and but in a good way. So I'm really excited to see what comes through today. So, okay, I'm going to take a little drink break. I think I know where we're going to start, but we'll tap in. Oh, I also, my strongest sense is claircognizance. So I get a lot of knowing, telepathy, downloads. And so it's me like unpacking it. As well as clairvoyance, I'll share you what I'm seeing, clairsentience, what I'm feeling. It's, like I said, a multi-sensory experience, and we're all along for the ride. Okay. And I have all the water today because I get very dehydrated doing these. Okay. Yep, right off. I'm hearing, let's talk about the timeline split. We're going to talk about the timeline split. We're going to talk about Kamala Harris because this was a moment. I meant to say shift and I said split. That tells you what I'm about to talk about. Because this was a catalytic moment. Her on Colbert, her with her announcements was a catalytic moment. So first we're going to get into the timeline. I keep saying it, split. Okay. If you've been watching my videos the past couple days, I had been sharing about the weird, the sticky, the floaty, what's going on, what's happening. It was a very disorienting thing, which we've been through these in cycles the past couple months, where we get in the weird soupy, I don't know what year it is, like what's happening. And we're kind of in how I experience it. And judging by most of the comments that I get, a lot of you feel the same way, that we get in this weird timey-wimey, what's happening. I shared that I was having, like, my clocks were misbehaving. There was a lot of really weird things happening. And then I woke up out of that the next day with like a ton of clarity. And then it was either that day or the next day that I got knocked out for a spirit nap, which is something that happens. It used to happen to me constantly before the election, and then in the months after, when I was really doing collective timeline work and healing work, where spirit's like, hey, we need you, get over here, and I'm just out. And or it's times where I'm receiving massive energies and I'm anchoring. So I was totally taken out, and it was conspicuous because I haven't had that happen in a couple months. So I was like, oh, we really in it. Okay. So that was either the day of or the day before her announcement that she wasn't running for governor of California. And then the day after that announcement, she announced the book. And it was later that night that she was on Colbert. So okay, hold on, we'll get to that in a minute. So all these things were like stacking up. And there was this feeling, and I had mentioned in one of my videos that about a month ago, I got feeling like I was really sad. And I was telling my husband, I said this in the video, I feel like I'm about to lose a huge, like a bunch of my audience, because I could feel, as a psychic and a creator, I actually feel you. And I feel you, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? I say, Spirit, what do we need to know? How can I deliver this? And generally, there's a lot of unity. But this was the first time I was feeling a huge divide. And I felt this subset and I was like, oh, they're not going to make it. They're not going to make it. Meaning they're kind of lost in the gloom. They're lost in the victim. They've lost hope and they really just can't rally right now. And they just need a minute to kind of be in their wounding and be in their space. But I'm not meant to serve those people. I'm meant to do this other thing. There will be people who will serve them. We're not going to be sad. We're not going to fear. It's not left behind. But it's just I could feel this segment of my audience kind of peeling off to where I couldn't feel them. And they were going to go away and they weren't going to make it with our wave. They needed to catch another wave. And I was really sad about that. But it was like also around the time that I didn't have clarity. I'm like, I don't know what to say. I don't know what TikToks to make. I can't get clarity on the message because I could feel such a wide separation in these groups. And it was a small subset, but it was large enough that I noticed. But I've noticed since that time a month ago, and with all the weird energy things coming on, the number one thing I've noticed is my comments have changed. And I used to get a ton of comments where it was like, I hope you're right, or nothing ever changes, or just a lot of negativity and doom and gloom. I am not getting those anymore. How does that make sense? On TikTok, when I have 130,000 followers and my views are regularly between 20 and 50,000, how am I not getting any of those comments? So that really stood out to me around the time of all this shift where it's like, oh, like, yeah, people who are ready to move to the next are really tapped in and they're showing up and they're here. And so it kind of validated that hunch that I got that this group is going to kind of drop off. Maybe they're just going to not be interested in me anymore. Maybe I don't know. I can't speculate. But I felt that peeling off of that group. And now what's left is this cohesive group that is energized. And it doesn't mean everybody's happy and everyone's, spirit and power. Like not everyone is still in the same place, but we're going to catch this wave purely by desire, intention, or that their guides know, yeah, they're gonna keep up. We're gonna be good. Oh yeah, Karen says South Park switched up the energy. That was such a momentum shifter, especially because we had the Colbert cancellation thing was really devastating because it's like if Colbert's not safe, who's safe? And it was like immediately like South Park. South Park, and we're gonna stick it to the man and F you and all the things. So we have these outside experiences that can really galvanize and shift and move everybody. So that takes us up to what's going on with Kamala Harris as she comes out and she makes these announcements. Ooh, pause. Yeah, Elizabeth said, I keep feeling all the female rage. That was another really big one that happened in the last month. And you saw me make a lot of videos about it, both where I was verbalizing it myself as I was stepping into it and setting boundaries and working through my process of being exposed to the media and feeling continual exposure. Kelly, I don't know if you're still getting it like I am. Kelly was also named in the Fox News report, but I keep getting right-wing media who write about me. They're just taking Fox's narrative and just repeating it. And it's so disheartening. And so it pushed me into this space of like defending my territory. And once I really got myself into that space and was really embodying that rage and that power of like, I'm not going to take this shit anymore, then what felt wrapped into it, I went into this space of feeling those who can ride this wave are those who are going to be the bringers of justice for those who have harmed the women. And I made posts about that. A lot of it is going to be going through the experience of bringing truth about Epstein and Trump and all the abuses. But again, as above, so below. This is one like targeted group. Again, I volunteer as tribute. These women and girls and people and boys, there were boys there too, who went through that are going to be this archetypal group of people who, by us processing their experience and having rage and pushing for justice, by them doing that and healing that, it sends this wave of healing out to all victims of sexual assault and sexual misconduct. And so rising with that energy of it's time for justice. Ooh, I feel those chills. It's time for justice. And I made this video. It's still in my drafts. I don't know if I can share it. It's a lot, but it was about the women in days past, the witches, the mystics, the priestesses, who were the bringers of justice, even in death, even in bringing death to those who had wronged the women and children. It was a very powerful message that poured through. And I made the video and it was so powerful, chills upon chills. Yes, the dark feminine, exactly, Phoenix. The dark feminine has been rising so strongly. And it was that message that as we embody that dark feminine meaning, the feminine that is power, that is justice, that is retribution, that is our right to enact justice. As we embody that, we become the bringers of justice for those who have been suffering. And so we're going through this archetypal as above, so below experience. I didn't post that video because I'm like, it is going to sound like it's this death cult and we're going to create death to Trump. So I'm not going to do that. But here we're among friends. So if any of you felt that, that was pouring through. So that was another momentum shifter. We went from feeling like we're all victims of this administration into, wait a minute, why are we victims of them? They're the evil perpetrators. They should be wary of us. We are onto them. We know what they're up to and we're not having it. And so as we've risen into that space, the momentum then shifts and more women get, and as we heal and we witness and we have all that experience, we get to shift out of our own victimhood and into, we're no longer victims. We are bringers of karmic justice. So that energy, let me tell you what, that was life-changing for me to both experience and embody and then to bring through those messages. Even if I didn't publish the video, the act of bringing it through and birthing that energy is powerful. I might put it somewhere. We'll see. Okay. Okay. All right, so now getting back to how this relates to Kamala Colbert, the announcement. And then after I deliver this, I'm going to tune in and say, what do you want to say about this? Because I had a really interesting experience with all this. So that day where she announced the book, when I made my video that day, I didn't know that she would be on Colbert. And I said, I'm just like reading into what she's doing here. I said very specifically, the book is not the thing. It's going to seem like, oh, I've written this book and now I'm going to market this book. That's a Trojan horse. The book is not the thing. There's something else going on. And the act of marketing the book will both allow her the visibility to do whatever it is she's going to do, as well as this is sort of like covert. She's doing something behind the scenes. She's doing something. And I also got this insight into what that thing might be. I got floods of information, I will tell you. And so I said to Spirit, all right, I can't sort through this. Let's do it in this session here. So we will get into that because I want to get out of me and the thoughts and the curiosities I have and just get Spirit's take, what's going on here that we can know about. Because yeah, I see some of your comments here, council members, we've had this idea of councils and we've had this idea of she's coming back, but maybe not the president. And we don't really know what that looks like and feels like. It's this very been confusing thing that a lot of us have been feeling. And so now she makes this announcement where she very specifically says, I'm not pursuing elective office. I'm stepping outside the system because the system is broken. And so I watched that Colbert Report. And on the one hand, I was like, oh, my energetic read of the situation that morning was spot on. But then another feeling set in, and I want to know if any of you felt the same thing. I actually got kind of depressed. And I actually had this feeling of like, we got all this information and all this insight that, oh, behind the scenes, they're doing a thing behind the scenes, just you wait. I didn't get that same feeling from that interview. And it put me in this whole spiral of, have we been on a goose chase? Don't worry, I'm going to bring it back up. No one gets sad or scared like Gia's jumping ship. But this was the journey I went on where like, did we get it wrong? Was there nothing behind the scenes? Is there, there was that moment of like, this is different. This is not what I've been tapped into. This is not what I have been feeling and receiving from Spirit, especially what I have channeled about her was so powerful to those of you who were at, I think it was my May event where I channeled that message. Okay, a lot of you felt that way, depressed, let down. It was very jarring in the space of where I have been for 9 months receiving all these insights. And again, as I said, reviewing all my old content as I've been doing the past couple of weeks, I've been spot on about everything. how could I get this thing wrong? How could I get everything wrong except for the biggest piece? So it was a really kind of weird, it was a weird moment to experience that. And so I kind of pulled out of that and was like, all right, well, I'm not going to take a tailspin. Spirit, let me know what's going on. Let me know. And that was, late at night. And then I went to bed. And I woke up the next day like, no, it wasn't even the next day. It was in the middle of the night. I woke up in the middle of the night and I go, oh, she has a plan. Oh, I feel the chills. She has a plan. And this is what we've been feeling, but it's bigger and it's different because if I was, and maybe you all will agree, those of you who've gotten insights through all these months, when I was feeling this energy of there's a behind the scenes plan, it felt like when I used my logic, it's Biden and it's Harris and it's election fraud and it's all these very specific things. That's the container that I put it into. But as I woke up in the middle of the night with like this knowing of, no, she's got a plan. And it's so much bigger and more complicated and surprising than I think any of us could have tapped into and anticipated because this is so out of the box. It feels out of the box. It feels like who she's talking to, who she's working with is not the establishment. They might have been past establishment, definitely lots of Obama, and she said, I've been talking to world leaders. What's that about? If you're a private citizen, sure, they're your buddies, but like, what's going on? Where's this leading? And so having that sense in the middle of the night of like, oh no, it's a plan. We're good. Okay, so then woke up the next morning and was this yesterday? I don't know, you guys. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to do this chronologically, but it's like it all folded in on each other. I woke up that day feeling like such a solid timeline shift. Friday morning, I think it was Friday morning. And then that's when I was getting all those ideas about how to. I was speaking to the group before I hit record on this about these ideas for a conference and how to move 4am Club forward. And I will tell you that I really got lost in the soup on that one too. I've been trying to understand, what is this movement? What are we here for? How is it experienced by you as opposed to being experienced by me? It's been a thing. And as I'm trying to conceptualize this and then be able to nail it so I feel like I can move forward with cohesion, I really got lost on it. But what came to me after the morning of the shift is, oh, well, everyone who's going along for the journey is ready. So it doesn't matter what you do, whatever you do, people are going to be along for the journey because we've shifted, we've clicked, we've made it. Just like I said earlier about, oh, the audience, I don't know if they're going to make it. Whatever was going on is not going on now. We're locked in, we're moving forward. And so with all this is when the insight about what was that experience I had with the Colbert interview? Why did I feel something so different? Why was that the opposite? Was that just my human feeling? Was that like, what was that? And I was talking with my psychic bestie just before this, and she verbalized it so beautifully. Because she reached out to me and she's like, was there a timeline shift? And I was like, yes, there was, and we made it. She verbalized it as, when Kamala came on that interview and said what she said, we felt some kind of way. But however you felt was a reflection of where you're at and where you're going. You can interpret, she was so careful with her words. She didn't name names. She didn't name parties. It felt both very specific and very vague, right? And so it was like this blank slate for people to interact with this news and this thing she's doing. And it was like a cosmic check-in. Where are you? And where are you going? And depending on how you resonated with it, that was a catalyst moment. That was a catalyst moment. Which timeline is most appropriate for you right now? No judgment from a spirit perspective. If you're not, lots of chills. If you're not ready yet, that's okay. You'll go into an experience that helps you with whatever you need help with. But it was a catalytic moment for those who are ready to get into the new. And we're talking the new. You want to say new earth? Healthcare for everybody? Everyone affords, like, this is where we're going. So for those who could get into that resonance and still say, I don't know how it's going to look, but I want it and I believe and I still hope, even if it's only 2% hope. If you can perceive that vibration, you're locked in. And if you really can't, okay, you're not ready. And so it was almost as though, I'm going to feel into this. Is this true, Spirit? It felt as though that interview was, and I'm like seeing the gong being rung, and I'm seeing the visual sound waves going out. And it did split the timeline. Those who are ready to move on, that was a moment. Those who are ready to move on and believe and want to have these experiences will go that way. Those who are not ready will perceive it as she lost, there's no hope, she's given up, there's nothing waiting for us. If you can't handle that, if you can't get in your hope, okay, that's where you're going. But those who are ready are going. Okay. I'm going to take a little. So, how's that sitting? How's that sitting? Did you guys feel that or have felt into that? Because I will also tell you, after I woke up that morning, I started seeing all those videos of people saying, oh, she's got a plan, and then giving their theories and their ideas. It was like, and what my friend said, she's like, I bet you had that experience of seeing both because you have this big audience that you're tuned into and you're feeling people who are on both sides of the spectrum. So I told you I would pull it, I would tie it all together. There are different experiences, and I was tapped into all of these and which are we going to go and what's the potential. But then it was when I got out of my mind and I was in the sleep state and I was just in spirit, I was woken up with a knowing of like, nope, we're going here. Okay. Yeah. Serena says, feeling it all makes total sense for you. And I think a lot of it's just being intuitive in general. You can feel the different potentials. But because my process in where are my people? What do my people need? What come to mama? What do you need? I feel into where are you? Where are you? How can I help bring the stragglers along if possible? How can I serve, the extra credit kids who are ready to move on? I'm in a weird space. So, okay. Okay. So now I'm going to anchor into, so that was my experience of it. And now I'm going to call in, oh, I'm like so hot already. I'm going to call in spirit. What can you tell us about this? The timeline shifts have been constant. The timeline refining, they want to call it, it's a refining of timeline. Oh, and I'm getting this image. It's interesting. It's like a piece of yarn. And if you zoom in on it with a microscope or a magnifying glass, it's one piece from far away, but you zoom in and there's all these little frayed edges and the fuzz. It's a pruning. It's a pruning of your timelines. It's a pruning of your potentials. It's a refining of this thread. That's what all of these experiences over the past 9 months have been. If we have a thread that's like, oh, but I don't know, I think I really might still be a victim, you're going to go down there a little bit and go through whatever experience you need to either snap out of it, work through it, finish that, or if you're really not ready to make it, you keep tumbling. And that's your choice. That's free will. That's how it works. So as we've been going through everything we've been going through, it's been an opportunity to get into those tiny little frizzies to feel what is still active, what is still active for you. Because if you have active energy on certain timelines, certain paradigms, realities, potentials, fears, this is about the wounding, the fear, the karma, all the icky sticky that keeps you in the 3D. I've been talking about this a lot. Bad guys always win. There's no hope. They've all abandoned us. The women will always be suppressed. Whatever defeated kind of beliefs we have due to our karma, our trauma, experiences from this life and the past, if those are still awake and active and we're still activating, I mean to say living, those experiences, beliefs, vibrations will activate a timeline in you, and a part of your soul will experience that reality to bring it to conclusion, whether it is by ending the timeline and integrating that aspect of self back into the primary identity, or by realizing the soul needs more work in that paradigm, in that reality. Getting very woo-woo here. Hope this makes perfect sense to me. Do you guys understand, or is that a lot? When you think about it in metaphysical terms, in physical terms, I'm in one body having one experience, but the soul and the subconscious can fragment, both in terms of I'm in many different bodies right now. The soul of Gia is in many different bodies, as well as the soul of Gia is subconsciously in sideways timelines experiencing all these different realities. Okay, they're telling me, I got to tell you about this dream I had because this will explain it perfectly. So my senior year of college, I had a fork in the road decision. I was either going to go to grad school, go to NYU, do the journalism thing, do the Carrie Bradshaw thing. This was 2004, so it was right on time. Or I got a job offer from Red Bull's entertainment marketing firm, because I worked for Red Bull that year, to go to LA and do their entertainment marketing. But instead, I did the secret third option and I had a nervous breakdown. Yay. And I moved home with my family. And then I met my husband a year later and never left Utah. So that sucked. But that obviously put me on the primary timeline I needed to be to experience all the things I've experienced that make me who I am now. There have been timelines in New York and timelines in LA that I will catch glimpses of from time to time. And a dream I had recently, I don't know how I knew this, but I was in Ibiza. And I was a party girl in the 2005, 6, 7 Paris Hilton era scene. And I was at this hotel and it was a party, a poolside party, and I was stoned, wasted something, which I didn't even drink at the time, but in this dream, I was like totally out of it. And I had a moment of clarity that I have to leave or I'm going to die. And so in the dream, I said, okay, that's it. I went back to the hotel room. I started packing my shit and I realized I only have enough to fit. That's all my entire life can fit in this bag. I have no possessions. I have no house. I have nothing. I'm just here. I don't know what I was doing. Was I doing the Alexis shit thing pre Schitt's Creek where she was just partying and living on yachts and shacking up with whoever? That felt like that was the life I was living. And so I was packing up and I was saying, I don't care if I have to start over. I don't care. I'm going to start. This is not the life for me. And then the dream shifted and I was in a mall. You guys heard of the Astral Mall? There's a place that people go in dream times. I don't know how to explain it. It's a buy station. It's a byway station. And suddenly I was in the Astral Mall. Yeah, Kaylee says hers is a grocery store. And I was seeing all these people in places and I was like, what just happened? Why am I not there anymore? And someone walks toward me. It is the spirit guide of my best friend. Why? Why not my spirit guide? I don't know. But it was him. And I look at him and I say, if you're here, where's Vanessa? And he goes, she's right here. And of course, no one was there. And that's why I realized I've gone into the ethers. I'm not in physical anymore. And that's when I started to wake up from the dream. And as I woke up from the dream, I got a flood of information about that was a timeline that would have happened had I gone to LA and got swept up in that scene. That would have been my life. And eventually, like a choose your own adventure book, all roads ended. That path ended in every way. And I got to see and experience one of those endings. And that timeline version of me cut off, ended, and the energy was now free to integrate back into the primary timeline. Serena says, you got Scrooged, Gia. I did. I had a ghost of Christmas past in my friend's spirit guide. So that's kind of a wild story about this is how it works. When we're timeline shifting and splitting and we have all these different fragmented pieces, we want to bring all of them home. Because as we bring in these fragments into the totality of who we are, we then gain the power, the wisdom, the patience, the energy, just the pure energy and power of knowing we're all we can possibly be. And so that is what's happening to our subconscious as we're closing out these little yarn fragments of these timelines. Okay. And they said that has been going on in earnest. Okay, they're pointing me back to the 4 a.m. Club awakening, that moment. What was that? Okay, and that's where they show the gong was struck. The gong was struck and it awakened chills. It awakened all the different versions of us on all the different timelines. It's like when you're in the theater and they ring the little bell, it's 5 minutes till showtime. The gong was struck and all the different soul fragments were giving their last chances to wrap up those experiences and integrate back into the primary timeline. And as we do that, we become whole enough to make the jump into the new earth, into the ascension. We needed to finish out the timelines where we were, whatever it is, all of the problems that we have in human life, we needed to clear all those out. If you can resolve them, or disavow them, or say, I'm done playing that stupid game. I don't need that contrast anymore. If you can do that and bring all back together, you are synthesized into one primary timeline. And all, really? As many as possible. As many as possible so you can have the strength, the totality, the wholeness to move forward as one. Because, okay, they're showing me as all of these fragments are living in these other timelines, I'm not the only one living in Ibiza in 2007. Who else was on that timeline doing that thing? And let's say that timeline was this just came to me kind of harsh, but okay. Women who exploit themselves, women who use their beauty, their sexuality, their charm, their flirtation, whatever it is, to exploit themselves. That's a reality people live in. And if I am living in that reality, it will bleed into my other reality where I will experience more exploitation to alert this is a lot, to alert myself to the fact that there are parts of me that I'm doing it to myself. But more importantly, okay, as we migrate ahead to the 5D, to the new earth, to the new creation, this isn't simply a migration, it is a simultaneous creation and uncreation. We are creating the new timelines, we are creating the new earth as it is also existed in a vibrational realm. It exists in a vibrational realm where humans do not live yet and haven't lived for centuries. Living humans, by and large, do not live there yet. So, although the vibrational reality exists on this earth plane, if you were at a previous event where I talked about the jawbreaker and all the different layers, that layer of fifth dimensional reality exists here on the earth, but by and large, humans aren't living there. And so as we migrate toward it, we will have to create new culture, new society, new structure, new systems. But if we're all living on the third dimensional reality, the systems are here. And the systems are corrupt and they're abusive and they're all the terrible things. And so we can't just simply unplug them and plug them back in. So we need to disconnect from them in every way and disconnect from the beliefs, the behaviors, the mindsets, all the things, patriarchy, and all the things. If you are locked into a paradigm of patriarchy, victimhood, exploitation, the only system you will be able to create is one of patriarchy, victimhood, exploitation. That's the real driving home part. So we have to rescue all the soul fragments that are locked into that paradigm. As we rescue them and pull them out, this is military level extraction, pull them out, integrate them into the primary, move to the head and create the new. We're not bringing forward a victim to create more victimhood. Does this make sense? This is huge. It's very simple and very complex. If parts of us and the whole of us is living and nothing ever changes, we cannot collectively create realities where things change. We had to extract, wake up, activate, and shepherd people across the bridge so we can create the new, because the fifth dimensional vibration is there. They're saying you've all tapped into it at some point. Meditation, hugging your loved ones, the feeling of love, expansiveness, potential, it exists, but there's no structure there. There's no schools. There's no, like, it's just a feeling right now. Oh, this is good. It's just a feeling right now. Oh, chills. Fifth dimensional reality is only a feeling. We have to migrate there to start building in it and start creating the new. And we will not be allowed to create the new if parts of your self are still experiencing victimhood, aggression, abuse, etc., whether it's the perpetrator or the victim. Does this make sense? This is like my whole, I feel like I just unlocked the matrix. Yeah, they said, Gia, this is how you escape the matrix. You heal the parts of yourself. Karen says it sounds like soul retrieval. 1000%. Soul retrieval and integration. And my third light circle, reclaiming power through presence, I did a soul retrieval and integration. That we have to reclaim parts of ourselves that are scattered and living in those places. Because if all of us is ready for the new, ready for the expansion, then we're a vibrational match. Our lock fits the key. We go into the fifth dimensional reality and we can start creating. And this is both physical creating. That's what Kamala Harris is doing. Chills. Ooh, oh, I know. Okay. Did you feel this? I'm going to cry. She's been meeting with the world leaders, like all the people of this world, the leaders, the helpers, the guides, the important key figures, whether they're political or they're like philosophical, the important key leaders who are capable of creating the new in the fifth dimensional energy, both as a soul creating the new and as a person with skills, expertise, reputation. That is who has been gathering. She doesn't even know it, but Spirit is showing me this has been like, what's the word? This has been a meeting of the minds of the council. I was like, right there, what is this? This is the council we've been feeling. She's like gathering all the people with the expertise, the skills, the wherewithal, the whatever it is to actually create the new systems. And so she's like, 3D is the burning ship. I'm out. We're going to create the new. And we're going to gather, we're assembling a crack team, just like in the movies, a ragtag group of misfits. Well, they're not misfits. They're the best and brightest of this world that are free to create the new. And so those who had the split moment with the Colbert situation, those of us who are some sort of vibrational match for the new, we got there. Those whose fragments were still too loud, you got to do your thing. Keep looping, keep swirling. They're saying there will always be opportunities to jump and make the shift. Oh yeah, and I'm seeing it when they've completed what it is they need to complete. Whoop, magnetic, whoop, they can cut. So don't worry about them. Okay. That was a lot. I told you there was so much energy going. Okay. How are we feeling about that? That made so much sense, and I just got so excited. Oh, and they're saying that's why so many of you intuitives struggled to identify what is she doing. Councils? Is she president or is she not? Well, she's a leader, but is she a different leader? And like when? It was undefinable because it hasn't been done yet, both physically, like, yeah, it's the future, but like whatever is happening and is going to happen has never been done here before. And I've gotten this all along, but they're reiterating again. Even they don't know. They're not fully operating in spirit like we intuitives are. They know it's big. They have the human understanding of how big and huge this is. But what's happening is they are doing something that is aligned with spirit without being aware that it is aligned with spirit. Because spirit also needs the people who can be movers and shakers in the physical world. We're still in that reality. Ooh, Angel says, and she's starting it all with a frequency of listening. Absolutely. Okay. I'm scrolling up a little bit through the comments here. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a little water here. Okay. Okay, and they're saying this is why you're having a hard time tapping into what it is, because it's so fifth dimensional and beyond, and even they are not aware. Okay, this is helpful for those of us who want to tap in now and in the future and kind of ask if we're tapping into Kamala physically, whoever physically, we're going to get just the physical stuff of what's going on. But if we tap into the fifth dimensional, what is the expression, what is the final form that this will take, we're going to get a vastly different reading of what it is, because they aren't even fully in awareness of what it is. It will become more. It will become more. It will evolve. They have an idea. They have a plan. They have a thing, but they don't know how in service of the divine they are. Just like all of us. We never really know. We never fully know. Spirit can use a willing vessel. So, yeah, I think, I don't know how to say her name. I'm sorry, Pamia. I think she's going to help us create the new 5D infrastructure. I absolutely see that. It is about structure and process and how this thing works and what does this look like. And I was asking Spirit, is this the coup? Is this like a benevolent coup? Because it has that energy. It has that energy. And I don't know how that intersects with other things we've been getting, like the Hague, like military removal, because we've been getting a lot of things along the way. Okay, I'm being told they will intersect. They will hold on, bold words. They said none of you were wrong. Those of you who were really tapped in, none of you were wrong, but we're ear ringing. None of you were wrong, but we're getting different fragmented pieces. And because we can't quite figure out where it plugs in, it's hard to interpret what we're getting. And they said, this is part of why it was so important for you to find each other, all of us to find each other, to share insights, information, details, to hold the light, to do all the things. Yeah, Bree says the new thing to make the old thing obsolete. It is that kind of feeling, whether it's this intentional coup kind of thing, or whether it is just like they're going to be like, hey, how about we do things differently? Oh, is this a curiosity or spirit insight? I don't know, but this idea of like, so here's a comparison. If you're funding a new company and you're going to go about this in like a very traditional, we need angel investors, we need seed money, we need all of this. You're creating this thing and it could be really big and impactful. So you need to go around and shop it to the movers and shakers who can help make it a reality. Now, if you're going to do this and create a new building a new company, you don't also have to say, attention world, I'm about to destroy all the other companies. I'm just going to do this other thing that's really, really good and really important. And then other people will be like, oh, that is really good. I want more of that. And by more people kind of catching wind of what the new thing is and wanting it and buying into it and choosing it, the others crumble away. Just like Apple destroyed Palm Pilot, right? iPhone destroyed BlackBerry. As new innovations come along, the old just like crumbles away. That's what happens. Okay, but what I was saying when I was like, is this my curiosity or is this a thing? It's almost like the whiff of whatever I got was this idea of like, let's say they create a new idea for socialized medicine and they start having meetings with all the healthcare CEOs. It's like that kind of thing of like, hey, I know you've been doing it this way, but what if we do it this way? What if we do it this other way? And then they're like, yeah, I'm sorry, this is so irreverent, but you know me, I got to be inappropriate. Our CEOs are going to keep getting picked off until we do something. I'm sorry, that's terrible. But it is that feeling of like, at some point, these old guard people have to realize they're in danger of becoming extinct. Okay, Rachel got the same thing. Thank you. It's not just me. And that was kind of a joke of like, they're not all really afraid of getting shot in the street, but they're also not afraid. But at a certain point, the growing collective, the voices of dissent, the voices calling for the new, oh, okay. And I'm getting all this info about as she does the book tour and whatever else she is. She's like, I'm just listening. It's this claim. It's so subtle. It's so sneaky. This woman, this is Trojan horse all over it. I'm just listening. I'm just asking people. What this is doing is raising the collective uproar. And it's like we're storming the Capitol, but like in the not shitty way. I'm sorry. It's, you know what I mean? It's like raising the tide, raising the voice, people both in anger, but she's doing it in this divine feminine way of like, we're listening, we're caretaking. You're safe to share your concerns with me. This is a safe space to be seen. But what it's doing is it's making it safe to raise the collective uproar and empower people to say, yeah, I don't want to do this old thing anymore. And so it creates the counter wave, is what they're saying. It's the counter wave. And I got this funny from Princess Bride. Bye-bye, boys. Have fun storming the castle. It's that kind of thing of like this joyous uprising. And as more and more people join this movement that she's spearheading over here, that's what kind of shakes the old establishment of being like, okay, shit, we can't ignore this. Like, this is bad. This is like coming for us. We've got to do something. And that's how this all kind of, oh, I love this, Angel. She gathers not to lead alone, but to amplify the gathered. That is beautiful. Oh, I got chills. Yeah, Kaylee says the CEO caught cheating was part of this. So not all violent takeouts. Yeah, like eat the billionaires. Like it's this kind of movement of like they're realizing in every which way that the tide is not on their side. We, the collective, are growing in response and in opposition to what they're doing. And as they see that collective rising, they interesting, they capitulate, which is she said that word in the interview. I was shocked at how many people capitulated. And she also used the word feckless. And it was so like strong and assertive and a little like, damn, she done called him out. But I now saw on the other way. Oh, you're going to capitulate? Wait till I amass my army. We'll see. We'll see who's capitulating to whom. It was like very much that energy that just came through with this. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited. Okay, a little drink break. Okay, wow. That was really exciting. And it's one of these things where I get this feeling of like, what if we were wrong about the whole presidential thing, but it doesn't matter because what we're getting is better. Do you know what I mean? Because I had so many people ask me in those early weeks with all those videos, they were like, are you sure you're not seeing her in 2028? And I was like, I mean, I'm asking, but I keep getting it's now, it's now, it's now. So I will ask spirit in a second, but like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like maybe what we were seeing and feeling, we defined it in that way because that's the shape this has always been. And now that I'm getting this vision of it's this other thing, I don't care that it's not the thing that I said. Do you know what I mean? This or something better. That's always what I say. This or something better. And so that's that feeling. Oh, thank you. Astrologically, it's now for her. Okay. She will pave the way to that powerful speech, you guys. I that was so incredible to channel that. Okay. But I'm going to ask because we still have the electronic interference swirling. We still have these lawsuits. We still have the digging. And why is this current administration trying to get their hands on voter records if they're not worried about something? And why would Spirit have shown us all of these things for it to lead to nothing? Like, I'm okay if we get or something better. I'm always okay if we get something better. And I'm always fine with being wrong because that's a reality when you're a psychic. We can never be 100%, especially when we're future casting, future shift. But okay, you're reading again. Okay. Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, so I was wondering about this, and they're tapping me into it. So you guys, especially who've been OGs from the beginning, do you guys remember November, December, January, there was a lot of stuff happening that a lot of creators were tapped into. Biden made a bunch of executive orders. They rushed off their Christmas holiday back to DC, sirens ablazing. The whole inauguration was so weird in so many ways that so many of us were like, maybe it's not happening, and we got all excited. Okay. Yeah, you guys remember. People who are new to this think we're absolutely insane because they don't remember, they weren't paying attention when all that stuff was happening. We had every reason to be like, But what I was shown, I can't remember which preview event this was. It might have come through in multiple, where they showed me specifically a meeting with Harris, Biden, whoever else is in this inner circle, and they're arguing about how it has to be. How are we going to reveal this? How are we going to this? How are we going to the other? And they're arguing, and ultimately the decision was made. I'm getting this is like late January, like this is the incredibly last minute. And that's when all the information was like, they have to see, they have to wake up. It's the only shot to get unity in this country, to wake people up from the spell, from the psyops, from all the things. It has to be this way. So another thing that I thought, yeah, whistleblower says I've heard multiple sources say they had to prevent a civil war. I mean, could you imagine if what they did on January 20th, 2020, or 6th, January 6th was a thing, like what was coming next? Like this was handled with the ultimate, not only care and delicacy, but like recon, like reconnaissance and intelligence. Like there was no stone left unturned. And I think there was every desire and intention on the part of at least some people in that room. We got to flip this. We can't let him get in because what will he do? And that's why many people tapped into he's not going to get in. He's not going to get in. This was a very, ear ringing. This was a very last minute decision, and not everybody agreed in their heart, but it was agreed. And so when I watched the Colbert thing, I was sort of triggered back to that. And I was like, what if she was one who didn't agree and didn't want it to go this way? And she's fought and tried every which way, but lost out. And so now maybe there's a bit of a toe to toe where we always said there's a behind the scenes, just you wait, they're doing a thing. I feel like I'm being shown two behind the scenes, meaning it came from this one meeting, but there wasn't an agreement. And when Spirit showed me this, it was like, okay, fine, agree to disagree. I get that it has to be this way. I don't love it, but okay, we'll do it. But then with this and her new plan for the future, I'm like, I wonder if this is like she's gone rogue. maybe she's going rogue a little bit. Don't that's a me curiosity. I'm not sure this is like a energy. I think more will be revealed, and yet still will never be revealed. So we can't fully know. But they're showing me this in validation of why many of us felt different things. Am I still seeing the ballroom takedown? I actually never saw that. unless I did and I just don't remember. You're gonna have to give me more details. Because I don't know. Oh yeah, that was Sam. So I'm like, I don't know. Um, okay. Okay, and then reminding me back in my June preview when they were showing me all the different bubbles of all the different ways this could go down, there are still some variables. And it's okay. Ooh, this is cool. It's dependent on the energy of people who are joining this timeline, which is why one of the major reasons the Epstein thing was the pop, because do you guys remember in last month's session, the last month, what's coming next when Spirit was like, cross the bridge, we're good. One thing that I'd forgotten until I reviewed the session, I said, I was shown there's a new wave of awakening that's coming. So it's okay if we cross the bridge because this new wave of awakening is going to do the heavy lifting of waking people up. What happened? Like a few days after that, the Epstein and the MAGA, and it was like, it was a huge awakening. But what happened was many MAGA were sold on this idea of we're rescuing children from pedophilia. Trump made the Epstein list a cornerstone of his campaign. And so those people are pissed. When are we going to get that? And so, because this new collective of awakening people joined us, maybe not fully spiritually awakened yet, but they're waking up from the illusion of Trump, they joined us. They came in with this fresh energy and their rage, and that made the Epstein thing pop first. So that's why we have these future potentials of which way it's going to go. It depends on the energy of the collective and how we're moving forward. And it isn't even always in unison as we're seeing, but like which is the biggest energy that's a match for forward momentum. Okay, hold on. I'm asking about what's undecided right now is does he die or does he get taken out first? And we haven't locked into which is best for the collective yet. So this is also why we're getting a lot of variation and where maybe he almost died. I'm wondering, like, did he actually die? Did he actually die and maybe came back or was defibrillated or something? Remember when he disappeared for like 5 years? See, what you guys also need to know is that in addition to me receiving insights from spirit, I read my comments, I read as many as I possibly can. And so I see the trends of what people are getting from their guides. So in addition to what I'm getting, I can check it against, oh, like 200 people got this same thing. Or like me and 20 people got this thing, but 30 others got this other. So I feel like I also get this view into different kind of timeline pops. And so that it was just before the Twitter feud when he disappeared for a few days. And we were like, did it happen? You have to know how many hundreds, maybe even thousands of comments I got of people saying, my guide said it happened. I felt it happen today. I heard it happen. I woke up knowing it had happened. And I don't know if any of you here got the same thing, but this was more than wishful thinking, people. This was so many of us felt it or received it in some way. And then yeah, Phoenix said, I felt like it happened. I heard the pop. So many of us actually got it. So then when he came back and was apparently alive, we're like, what the hell? Because we can't be crazy. So it's like this the timeline hasn't fully locked, and we're feeling into different potentials, and different potentials are rising. And whether I've kind of where I've sort of landed is either he had a severe health incident or he received the diagnosis. Maybe he did die and come back. Something definitely happened because we all felt it and we all tapped into it in some way. Oh, Serena said that twitch in the press conference, that video I made yesterday. Wonder if it was an internal defibrillator shocking him. That's a great theory. My gosh. See, this is also what I try to be very clear about which are just ideas I'm playing with and which are ideas Spirit's telling me. Because Spirit also doesn't deliver everything explicitly. So I kind of am like, this is what I'm mulling over, and this is what I've heard a lot of you mulling over. And then Spirit can either come in and correct or say a different thing. Yeah, Phoenix Rising says, I think that's when he got the diagnosis. That's kind of what I felt, but I'm also open to whatever, because if we're truly talking about timelines and my body is in 1,000 different timelines, he probably died in some timelines. Okay. So like, but because I can't live in split realities, I have to kind of be loose and let things go and just be curious and be like, hey, we won't ever really know. I'm still thinking about it, but I need to stay grounded and focused on this primary reality. And so I got to let some things go. But yeah, they're saying it's not fully decided which is best for the collective. Does he die first? Does he get justice first? Oh, really? Okay. Ugh, we have to talk about JD Vance. Okay. Water vessel number two. Hold on. No, but we do need to talk about Vance because number one, I'm tired of the comments. What about Vance? Vance is worse. People, people, stop. That's mostly people who are new to the club and haven't been in the soup with us all this time. Okay. Because we got to talk about the Vance and Murdoch thing. And someone who remembers the timeline, literal timeline, when did that happen? I remember it being around the same week that he was MIA, correct? I feel like that was around the same week. And people have said, well, this is their plan all along, is to remove Trump and to put in Vance. And I will tell you, I have never felt that. I felt that it was more of a contingency plan. It's a contingency plan because Trump's old, his health is terrible. Um, STB, I'm not going to say that out loud, but yes. It was not the plan all along, but it's a contingency for if he dies or if whatever. Because, like all of you are saying here, we should not be afraid of Vance. Because, as Knitting Cult Lady likes to say, cults of personality do not transfer. Nobody likes JD Vance, not even his wife. All right? Nobody likes him. He is not feared by anyone. That's not true. People on TikTok are like, I'm scared of Vance. He's scary. Read the energy. He has no power. He has zero charisma. The public does not respect him. Nobody likes him. And guess what else? He doesn't have the loyalty or allegiance or the bribery power of Trump, Musk, whoever else. If Trump dies and Vance is sworn in, everyone can just laugh. We can just laugh because the shit show is about to go full display. He will not, he couldn't even order donuts, Amanda says. Right? Yes, he's hated by couches everywhere. Agree. He will be so ineffective that we should not spend half a heart worrying about it. Okay? Yeah. We saw how fast MAGA turned on Pence. It's going to be fine. So I'm getting this image of he's at a podium and he's trying to make demands and the audience is literally laughing and he's getting even more mad. And I don't know if that's like a future flash or if it's just like, that's the vibe, guys. No one's going to take him seriously. Oh, okay. And I'm seeing that scatter like cockroaches. The lawmakers are going to start panicking because their bribes and allegiances and blackmail and all the thing is with Trump. And now he's gone. If he dies first, everyone is going to scatter and it will be totally chaotic. And so it's going to be a lot, but it's going to be like those of us on the outside of it, it will be funny. Okay. All right. Yeah. I mean, Jamie says I agree, but Peter Thiel does like Vance and he'll still try, but all the money in the world can't buy you every lawmaker and it can't buy the rising of the people. Okay. And what Spirit has shown me so many times, I've been saying since November, how we get through this time is we withdraw our energy from the administration. And that means both ignoring them, fighting against them, protesting, no longer fearing them, looking toward the new. As this energy is withdrawn, they don't have anything to harness, to manifest, to do their thing. When they had the full cult of MAGA, that's energy to harness, to manifest. And this isn't even necessary like dark magic type stuff. It's how the world works, okay? It's how the world works when they had all this power or when people feared them. That then Spirit said so many times, that's part of why. I'm sorry, what did Pete Hegseth quit and I don't know about that? Vicky just said, what's with Pete Hegseth quitting? I didn't know that. Did that happen recently? mm. Okay. All right. Anyway, I'm going to follow this other thing. What was I say? So as all Spirit said, we needed the 4 a.m. Club awakening so that enough people would have hope. Because if we didn't have hope for a better future, we would all fall into despair and they can harness despair. They can manifest from despair. Okay, Hegseth says he intends to quit and is running for governor of Kentucky. Well, that will not work. Love that journey for him. That is absolutely covered. Oh, Spirit is telling me because that internal investigation by the Pentagon is going, he knows he's about to be screwed. Bringing out enough bourbon in DC. Guys are my people. I love you. Okay. So the despair is energy they can work with, because if we're in despair, we're not fighting back. If we have nothing to hope for, we're just taking it. So this has all been part of this movement, everything, etc., to not let them get away with everything they've tried to do. So this was my long drawn out response to, don't be afraid of Teal either. He's got money and he's got whatever, but like, he doesn't actually have power. And he can try, okay, and they're showing me it's Putin. Screw Teal. They just wanted him for all the money and the connections and Elon and all the things. Okay, hold on. All right. Let me take a minute. They're telling me that Epstein stuff is also important for that World Wide Web of corruption that I talked about and I reposted recently. The World Wide Web of corruption is the goal of uprooting. Kamala mentions it in her book. I was shown the deeper insights into, oh, it's more than Russia's in American politics. This is the web of corruption in every organization, every group, everything. Which month did I bring this through? Was it May? I don't know. Anyway. Okay, so that's how you get all these players with seats at the table now. How we get Teal and Musk and Putin and Epstein and name a name. This is how we get all of them. They have now come together and they're in DC and they're doing a thing, and we can all see them at the literal fucking table now. This has been a decades-long effort by Russia to infiltrate the United States. And there was a video I've been meaning to make. Maybe it's for here. Hold on. I'll briefly mention it here. So years ago, a video surfaced of an ex-KGB agent who talked about the plan to infiltrate American politics and to destroy America from within. And I remember seeing it and just a chill went through my soul. And I knew this is bad. And this has been going and it's too late. It's already happened. And I probably saw this 5 or more years ago. But this is from like the 80s or 90s. And so seeing him say that and now seeing how far it's progressed was chilling. But it's also, you can now see how they've done it. And it's hilarious with Rubio or whoever's talking about, oh, the Russia interference was a hoax. Really? Because there was executive orders and sanction placed under Trump's administration the first time that called out Russia and Iran. And there was a executive order Biden made calling out Russia and Iran for their election interference. It was centered on the language of the executive order was psychological warfare. But part of what they've done is the demoralization of America. And meaning very specifically is they've skewed and twisted our sense of morality. What is right from wrong? And they've done this in a number of different ways so that you've got the alt-right, you've got they've weaponized the evangelical Christian right to, be on these crusades against LGBTQ, against abortion. They've claimed this is morality. You're a moral person hating gays. Do more of that. Then you have this other side where they've paid for alt-right influencers, the trad wife movement, the freaking Andrew Tate shit. They've seeded these ideas and concepts so deeply into every facet of American life that there is no one moral center of America anymore. We can't agree on what the right thing to do is, which is very sad and sobering, but it's also true. We know this, right? This is where we're at. And so the reason they did this, Russia beginning in, I can't remember when this video, 70s, 80s, 90s, I don't know. The reason they did this is because we would no longer be united and we would be fighting each other rather than a force to be reckoned with fighting our actual enemies outside. And that is where we're at now. Okay, whistleblower says, can't we come together in search of the truth? This is how we are coming together in search of the truth. This awakening, this 4 a.m. club movement, this ascension, the spirit saying, the time has come now to migrate higher. Let's seed awakening in every faction of society and let it spread. We'll spread it through social media. We'll spread it through healing. We'll spread it through, people who work on ley lines and people, there's all kinds of ways that people are doing this. And to me, seeing MAGA wake up that, oh shit, maybe Trump is the Epstein files, this is how we begin to see that whole web fall and all the psychological. And this is why I've been harping on Joe Rogan having an awakening, because what I can see is with him and maybe others like him, this awakening will continue to spread and trickle out through the people who once spread misinformation. They're going to have an awakening and they're going to start trickling out. So as like scary and upsetting as it is to be like, oh shit, like Russia's really been doing a number on us, it explains how we got here now. And it explains why Kamala et al. Is like, listen, this has to be bigger than, we can't let Trump win. We have to get the oligarchs. We have to get Russia out of American politics. We have to wake his cult up. This is that they have a plan, and the plan is bigger. And this is referenced in her book, the first book. Can't remember what it's called. It's on my nightstand though. Okay, so does this make sense? I have been on so many loops here. I feel like this session is much more cerebral than some of the others. This is like, we're getting all the details, we're getting all the little pieces in place. Oh, they just said, this is how you know you're close. Because before it was more feelings and hopes, and I see this big picture thing, and I don't know how we're going to get there, but we're going to get there, just keep the faith. And now it's like, and now look at all the little details that are coming together. And so it's just like hugely validating everything we felt, and now we're seeing it take shape physically. Okay, all right. I'm scrolling through here to check the comments for a sec. Oh, the women are going to get us there. Hell yes. And this is no shame to males or non-binary bodies. This is about, it is our time. Females have been repressed, abused, etc. for so long. And I know you brothers who are here with us, you understand that, and you're very supportive of this. That's not all men. You know what I mean? Okay. All right, let's let that simmer for a sec. Okay. Okay, so they're saying, you know, this is back in regards to the question, does he die first or get arrested? And what about Vance? And what about what's Kamala doing? Like, they're showing us all these little pieces. We still don't have a sequential ordering. There will be some that kind of don't materialize, some that do, some that take a surprising shape. And they're saying, we're showing all of this to you. They're saying it's going to start moving very quickly. Now that the timeline shift and split, okay? Now that the timeline, first, the shift of those who could lock in, hey, we're still headed for the new, I still have hope, lock in. And then other people who, oh, we're trying, nope, not going to make it. That is facilitating the split. And Spirit is showing me there's going to be continual opportunities for people to jump over. Don't worry about, because I know a lot of talk about the split gets very scary and people are like, it's not that, but it will just seem like more unity, more peace. Like I said, my comment section is a lot happier and a lot more hopeful. Those of us who've locked into this new vibration, because remember, if we're split into many different realities, this actually changes how the people in our lives can show up. If I'm in victimhood and they did me wrong, then the people in my life can only respond to that vibration, and their interactions will be like that. So as we do the work, we get to experience the version of the people in our lives who are also doing the work. In addition to, yep, some of us need to separate and draw boundaries. That's part of our work too. It's not always Shangri-La. Sometimes we gotta get divorced. I hate to tell you. Sometimes we gotta tell our mother-in-law to pound sand. But as we do, okay, they're saying the only thing you ever have control on is the work that you do. Heal yourself, be in peace, radiate love, hold on to hope, heal, let go, be open-minded, flex, see the positive. As we do that, everything in our world can't help but to shift. And that has been the whole point all along. I kind of touched on this earlier. Oh, I love this. We have to balance the power of the divine masculine with the compassion of the divine feminine to be whole. And that is true. So right now, the divine feminine is having a moment. It's going to be a very long and very loud moment. But as we heal the divine masculine, every human has both masculine and feminine qualities. And part of healing the divine feminine is the men need to be allowed to heal their feminine as well. Our culture, it's not okay to be soft. Be a man. Boys don't cry. All these horrible things that men have been socialized into or away from, the healing of that will happen. But it's not, they're not quite ready yet. They're feeling it, they're dancing around it. It will get further into that energy. So that is coming. It's already been happening, but it's coming as well. Okay, so what I was saying before that, they're showing me, kind of looping back to what I said earlier. Okay, hold on. Okay. So I'm going to use, sorry to keep bringing it up. I'm going to use the stupid Fox News thing because it's a great example. As I talk about my experience, it like makes it real. Okay. And Kelly, I love that you're here because both Kelly and I, Kelly Daring, we were the two that were profiled in the Fox thing. And it was a very shocking thing to go through. And for me, that experience was of feeling so vulnerably exposed and not knowing how to protect my community, protect my work. Are they going to start stealing my content? Are they like, what's going to happen? And going into that sort of triggered, reactive, called out state triggered all my vibrations of persecution, victimhood, not safe, defenseless, all of these scary things that we all feel in various lives. And you've seen me, especially if you follow my personal account, Geoprism, what do I call it? Geoprism Unfiltered. It's not private. It's just like, I'm not leading a movement over there. I'm just like being me. I've been working through all these fears and persecutions, etc. And now, because I'm working through them, I am stepping into more of that dark feminine power, wielding my anger righteously, boundaries, all these big firm things that I've been doing. But if I had not done that and I had stayed in victim, they're all going to come and get me. I'm going to be found out. This is just like that time when yada, yada, yada. And it did trigger up all the times where I was persecuted out of the blue and it really caused trauma. I had to revisit all that. I had to heal all that and work through it. If I hadn't, then what would have happened is, that's another gong moment. They struck the gong of Gia's about to be persecuted, the witch wound. They're about to come get her. I would have further gone in retreat and negativity, and the world is not safe, and toxic masculinity will kill us all. And I can't keep making content, and I need to pull back and just retreat, 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 retreat. And if I had been further in that, my reality outside of me would have shifted as well, because I'm vibrating the reality of women are not safe. We can't get ahead, fill in the blank. So my reality would have no choice but to reflect that. And that is me staying on that third dimensional women are not safe timeline. But because I did the work and I worked through it and I'm standing up and I'm fighting, I'm doing all the things, I'm migrating into, they can fight us all they want, but they can't shut me up and they can't actually hurt me. They can bully me online, but they can't actually hurt me. You want to come to my events? Fine. You can't actually hurt any of us. So that moves me into a world where, come at me, motherfuckers. you can't do a thing. And so that allows me to move into the timeline where all their persecution does nothing. So this is the big story of like, this is why we do the work, because it's not only about what I get to experience based on my level of healing or being triggered, but the world around me. I am putting energy into the new world where women are safe. That's the most important thing, because we're always doing our own healing and our own stuff. But if we're all in 1,000 different realities, there's not enough juice for the good one. So we all have to work our way up to the good ones. And so now me and Kelly, as an example here, are working through they persecuted us, but can't keep me down, bitch. Like Kelly came out swinging before I did. I was in retreat for a while. And so we are now feeding and magnifying the timeline when say whatever you want, I'm going to keep going. And it's actually bringing people to the cause. So middle fingers to all of you. So this is why we do the work, and doing the work heals the world. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Okay. So there you go. If you only focus on one thing, heal yourself, get through your fears, work it out. This is why I have that shadow work guidebook, because this is just personally the way I do it. There are other ways, but this is my way of working me through. Sorry, there's like an ATV down the street. It's very loud. working through that gets us off the timeline where that's the dominant reality. And I need all my energy, my yarn in the 5D where it's safe to rise. So, okay. Okay. It's 5:30. We usually wrap these things up in about 2 hours. I got another half hour. I'm going to pause for a minute. I'm going to listen to Spirit. I'm going to take a drink break. Go ahead and hit up the comments with things that you really want to ask or want to know. I kind of feel like this session, it's so interesting. Spirit, in a way, is like, we don't have much more to tell you because we've been telling you. We've been telling you for months. You already know, but we get something different every time. And I feel like we got a lot of new little pieces, as well as the little pieces locking the big picture into place. And I said to my husband earlier today, because I was listening to a few of my previous What's Coming Next, and I was like, I wish everyone would just listen to those. Like, I wish everyone on TikTok who has a fear or a question or a doubt would just listen to those, because it's all there. Spirit has laid it all out in these very different sessions with very different sets of information. And I know Sam does a deeper downloads thing, and everyone kind of does their version of stuff. It's all there. Spirit has just been pouring through all of us to get all the information. Okay, let me scroll up through here. Good questions. Okay. Russia and earthquakes. Let's see. AI, interesting. Smart election. When will the orange end? When he's no longer useful. I can't see an actual time. They really told us in June that was a strong possibility, but then I felt like, remember, I was getting my hand slapped when I kept asking. They're like, he's going to be gone when he's no longer useful. Stuff with Gaia, volcanoes. Okay. All right. Oh, good. Kaylee says, I just needed a sanity check. We need to hang out. We need I keep going back to the Charlie Day conspiracy board, because when we're just one person having all the thoughts and intuitions, we can feel a little nutty when it's not yet in the physical world. So it is good to get together. And I feel like we do this in a grounded way. We ask the questions, we speculate wildly. Sometimes we go even further into the weird, but I feel like we do it in a grounded way. At least the vibe I'm leading with is like, hey, we don't really know until it shows up physically. But if we're all getting the same things and we can feel the energy on it when they drop it in, that helps us be like, all right, this is intuition versus, oh, I just went on a tangent because I was anxious or whatever. Okay, so I'm going to ask about Mother Earth. That seems to be a big one. And what else was I going to ask? Smart elections and stuff. Okay. The election contest votes numbers. I was told very specifically early on, and I've said this in a number of sessions, they do know. They do know, Kamala, etc., knows that it was a fraud, and they knew it would be because they've been tracking this from 2016. And what I have felt in my gut is that they intentionally, whoever the they is, are keeping a lid on it so it can be revealed at the proper time. Because if it was revealed too early, we wouldn't have had the big awakening. So let me see if they'll tell me what's going on with the lawsuit and others. I don't know, actually. I'm not really seeing it at all. Okay, they're saying it doesn't matter. Okay, they're saying it doesn't matter what happens with it, because I'm seeing, like, if it goes through great momentum, if it's struck down or they say it doesn't have merit or whatever, the response will be an outcry of, are you serious? Are you kidding me? What do you mean it doesn't have merit? And it will inspire more people to take more action. So what they're showing me is, don't focus on the individual. We're all excited about the lawsuit because it's the first thing that's truly on the books and moving forward. But they say, don't worry about each little move that's made. The truth is out there. It's out there in various places, and it will come to light, but it is being actively squashed because it's not time yet. Okay. And I'm also seeing actually a conflict in, we'll call them the team, the good guys who know and are keeping a lid on it. It's a conflict with their agenda and Spirit's agenda. Spirit might force the hand. They think they're in control and they're going to do a thing and it will be released at the right time in the right way by the right people. Spirit might force an agenda. And it could come in various ways. Like I said, if the lawsuit goes through and great, or if it doesn't and more people are mad. So don't worry about it. But it will come through in the right time, in the right way for the overall maximum effect. Okay. Yeah, the truth is out there enough. It cannot be fully swept under the rug. And it will come, okay, all right, we'll consider that complete. It'll come out in the right time. Whether the good guys release it or spirit forces. Okay. Yeah, and at the very least, it's another thing that adds validity so more people will feel comfortable talking about their hunches. I knew something was up. I mean, he couldn't fill a rally like, so there you go. Oh, I love this. Kaylee says it's like the Rube Goldberg machine, like the mousetrap game. Everything has to fire off at the right time. It's very much that feeling. And that's kind of why we also can't really see how it works. Because there are little pieces that they're showing me energetically and physically. Sort of like we needed enough of the MAGA awakening to give us enough momentum, enough critical mass to push it forward. And because they were the ones who gained momentum, it flipped the switch in a certain way. It took on their shape of what they desire, kind of what I talked about earlier. Okay. All right. Felicia, real quick, has a question. Can we talk about what's going on for the Stay Grounded events this month? I keep getting things will amplify and shock us, but to stay grounded, observe, don't absorb. This is vague. It's like they're giving me a whisper because again, different pieces, different players. It's the how they will respond, how this administration will respond that will be the shock. The shock, okay, the first shock generally is people who aren't aware of the true level of corruption. As this comes out, more people will be shocked and horrified and disgusted, but that won't shock us because we know. So we know. How the administration will respond to certain truths being enacted, that's when they do their distraction. We're going to arrest Obama. The more cornered they get, the more erratically they will try to behave. But as long as enough people are anchoring the hope energy, not the, oh no, what will we do if JD Vance gets in? We have to anchor that energy. That provides a stabilizing effect. That's the staying grounded. Know that whatever they do, they are caged rats. They are lashing out. They are not going to win. They will get very loud and angry as they are cornered. Oh, and I just saw military coming in, military in white. Ooh, lots of chills. This is another potential in one of the bubbles. I'm not being shown when or what a percentage of potential or what a whatever. Okay, okay. What I'm being shown, so many of us are like, what's going on with the Hague, the NATO, and whatever. That's a back pocket thing for this grand plan, for the good guys' grand plan. Just like the keeping a lid on the election is a back pocket, we will pull it out when we need it. Having beneficial forces move in is a back pocket when needed. It can't happen too soon. That is because they got their fingers on the nukes. We can't just let them completely run amok and burn themselves out. They have all the codes. Not that they would. I'm not telling you guys of like, be careful. They might, it's just like they're aware of the dangers at letting them have full reign. So don't be afraid if they get to where it's looking like they're going to completely lose their shit and do some really dangerous things. That is when this movement military situation will come in. Okay. Okay. They're saying that's a twofer. They were showing me that initially to be like, everyone calm down, you're fine. They're not gonna, no matter how loud and shocking it gets, They got a contingency plan. And if it really gets threatening, then they'll move in so we can all relax and trust that we're safe and protected. I know it doesn't seem like it. I know those of us who have privilege are more protected than others. I'm not ignoring that reality. What Spirit is showing me is there's a fail-safe for that level of threat. So we're clear. But then they also showed me there's a different arm of this when it is time to have the revelation of they actually didn't win. They have no legal right to be here. That is another reason military will move in. And I'm being shown back to something that Sam got, I want to say November, December, one of my favorite things she ever brought through, which was when she saw Biden's press secretary at the podium instead of KK Caroline. We will not know about it until after it's happened. So that's that potential there for when removal happens before, I don't know, whatever else. Does this make sense? Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. Maria says Trump did threaten last night about using nukes. Because of course he fucking did, because he's the worst. Yeah. So, okay. Elizabeth says, I think Sam saw military in white in her ballroom thing. Okay. Phoenix Rising, I had another dream about the Hague. Okay. And yeah, someone says Jag. Okay. So a lot of us have gotten lots of different things about this. So, okay. All right. Anything else we need to know about that? What Spirit is showing me, because I'm like, is there anything specific we need to know to be prepared? It is more about there's many different potentials for how this could pop. And I'm seeing whack-a-mole. We don't quite know what's going to pop. Even Spirit is like, we don't quite know because things are in flux, things are this, that, and the other. But we know generally which ones it could be. Certain ones are going to pop, but we'll be able to get them. Okay. The more we hold the energy of awakening, anchoring the new, seeding the new, creating the new, peace, hope, joy, we anchor the frequency so the chaos gets less chaosy. And now that they're showing me too, now that there has been this split and separation, it's almost like that group of people is in timeout. Meaning, their energy is the reason for the split was a necessity because their energy was causing too much chaos. It's like, oh Lord, I'm sorry. Parents will get this. When you really need to focus and you're doing the thing and the toddler's like, mom, and the teenager, mom, and you're just like, just give me a minute. I'm doing a thing. They had to be put in timeout so that we can focus and do our thing and seed the energy and anchor the higher light. They've been cordoned off from us. And Spirit said they've been given every opportunity. We've done all we can in service of them. This is important. We've done all we can in service of them, in service of the collective. You who have been light warriors, who have been healers, anchors, mothers, sisters, all of those who have held space for those on their healing and awakening, you have done all you can do. The time is now to move on. The time is now to cross the bridge. The time is now to be prepared for the new. The caretaking has finished. It is their turn to sink or swim. It is their turn to discover what they are made of. It is no longer your responsibility to hold back, to anchor, to heal, to do the work of caretaking. Your job is in the new. Move forward with purpose, move forward with power, move forward into the light, into the new, anchor the new. The 5D is waiting for you. We need your presence there. We need your presence there. And this isn't to say that we can't still heal. Those of you who have modalities and have whatever, it's about the collective of people who truly weren't making the cut. Anyone who comes into your orbit now who needs assistance are enough of the vibration that they can and will take care of themselves. You are simply showing the way. You are simply giving them a spark. You are no longer doing the work for them. The people who come to you are of such a vibration, they will be able to take it from here. Beware of your entanglements. Beware of codependency. The time has long passed for doing the work of others and calling it benevolence. That is abuse. That is it's just the codependency. The time has passed for doing the work for others and calling it love. You have been manipulated. Your energy is needed to move forward into the new. Lead by example, not by carrying. Okay. It's kind of a lot. Okay. Kind of a mixed review here. Ouch, we have to let others do their work, but yes, okay. Husbands and fathers too. I will turn this car around. Okay, some validating truths and some tough truths, but also to let you know, keep going, full speed ahead. It's okay. All right. All right. Anything else we need on that, Spirit? You're right where you need to be. Those of you who might worry, I don't know where I'm going, it's okay. Feel your way through. Okay, they're saying, emotions and energies are always meant to be a guide, a compass, but when you're too far in trauma, pain, wounding of the past, you can't navigate emotionally. Now your emotions can lead you. You guys, before I hit record and you saw how like giddy I was about these new ideas for gatherings, that's my emotional compass of like, do the thing that makes you giggly, do the thing. You need to follow your energy. You need to move forward. Just follow your own compass. You will get there. And if we make a misstep, perfect. That's how we learn, adjust, and move forward. Okay. All right. All right, that's complete. Okay, the last thing I'm going to get to, and then I think we'll probably wrap up unless anything else comes in, is about Mother Earth. What's going on with Mama Gaia? I've already brought some information through on this. Oh, okay. That was another, sorry, gathering. Clear cognizant problems. They dumped a download and now I have to sort it out. Okay. So I brought through information in the past about Mother Earth is shedding her layers, and that will be messy and chaotic and an earthquake and a tsunami and all the things. But then when we had the earthquake and the tsunami warning and the animals are all behaving weirdly and we're still having drought and different things in different places, it gave me pause. And I was like, you sure, Spirit? You want to revise what you've been telling me? And I was shown more about earth changes and things that other channelers have brought through that I've, have come upon my way. There's one in particular. Do you guys ever follow someone you don't like and you're like, ugh, but you never unfollow them? I'm sure plenty of people do that about me. But there's this one channeler who drives me nuts because I'm like, how the hell, where are you getting this stuff? But she's always about like the earth's about to blow up, get ready, folks. But she does it in this very weirdly calm way that she bothers me, but I can't stop following her. Okay, I'm sorry. This is my human. So what was the reason I'm bringing that up is there is a reality, there is a timeline, there is a group of people that message is for. That some shit's about to get real wild in places. But those of us who are here, we've made the leap. We've made the jump. We're not going to experience it in that way. And so there will still, yes, be shifts and changes. Okay, they're just calling it a great climate migration. And I've noticed that this summer here in Utah, this has been the mildest summer I can remember. And I got to sneeze, it's stuck. Normally we're battling 100-degree temperatures all the way through July, and August is like not letting up. We're in the 90s, but this has been like a very mild high 80s, low 90s. It's been beautiful. And I'm like, what is this? Like, I'll take it, but what is this? And so Spirit is showing me that of like, the magnetic poles are shifting, which is why the animals are migrating en masse. Animals are much more attuned to forces that we don't even have names for. All they're showing me magnetic pole, it's forces we don't even have names for. They are moving into position of places where they will be better suited as the climates shift. Now they're using the word shift because it is much more of where, it is much more where the climates are just going to be different. It's not, oh my God, we're going to die. It's like, this is, and you guys, I'm seeing a ton of comments of like, you guys are noticing it too. So some are, yes, as expected, some are worse, some is actually better. Someone said same in Vegas, believe it or not. I was in Vegas last July and I was like, why am I here? I'm about to die. So, so we're experiencing differences. Really? Oh, okay. They're pointing me to things I have seen from other channels, not the one I love to hate. Listen, listen. It's not like I love to hate her. I am fascinated by other channelers. I am, and I'm human. I'm petty. You've seen me be petty. Let's not pretend that I'm not. But I'm fascinated by other channelers because I don't ever choose what comes through. And so I'm fascinated by why are these other channels getting like the most batshit crazy things, and some of it is like, well, you're clearly nuts. And others is like, but actually your energy is very grounded. Like I'm fascinated by other channelers. And so this woman is like that. I'm like fascinated by her because she's very rational. She's very calm. And she's always like, this isn't to scare you. That I'm just fascinated by her. So anyway, they're directing me to some other channels that I've come upon that have talked about this period in the future. And we're talking 2050 beyond. And I believe this has come through a lot of Dolores Cannon's work, that in these future realities, the climate of the whole earth is going to be mild, lovely. No matter where you are, you will love the climate. And I never knew what to do with that because how? I don't know. Okay. Is that metaphor? Is it real? I don't know. And so what Spirit is showing me now is yes, that's where we are going. It will be a slow rollout and everyone's going to freak out. And we're like, I knew it. The doomsday clock, we're all done for. But Spirit showing me it's going to be a gradual migration toward pleasant climate, beautiful earth, healed earth. And we're going to freak out for a while because it's going to seem like we don't know what to do, but we're en route to this thing. And they're saying it will necessitate where different locations experience a different climate they're not used to, it will necessitate different human behaviors, policy change, the way we manage water. It will require change on the part of human, in addition to more sustainable futures, etc. That is all part of the transition, but don't do it in fear. Okay, I'm seeing Tefiti from Moana. Oh, I got a lot of chills. Mama Earth wants to be that again. Mama Earth wants to be that again. She wants to evolve and grow out of the polar extremes, the freezing, the intensity, the she wants to move into paradise as she was designed to be, but through the density we have migrated into extremes. The density of the polarity, light and dark, hate and love, that manifested as extremes in the climate. As we are evolving out of polarity, out of density, out of duality, so will the earth be able. This is again that as above, so below. We will be able to experience a reality, just like if we're not in victimhood, we won't be victimized in our reality. If we're out of polarity and extreme, we will experience mild, pleasant, enjoyable, wonderful wherever we are. This will spread across the world. It will scare people at first because it's differences. There will be eruptions, there will be shifts, there will be, we have to do things differently, but this is all part of the great migration into a new earth that is truly paradise. Ah, that was beautiful. And what a perfect way to end that on. Yeah, and they're reiterating it'll look scary. See the bigger picture, trust that it will be the wake up call that certain people and industries need, but we're going to be there, and that is the plan. Ah, they're they're kind of reminding me of all these things. I've read all the Dolores Cannon, I've read all the stuff about the event and all these miraculous things, and I never knew how much of that is literal and how much is, I don't know. And they're really showing me how like literal it is. As long as we keep going, we can get there. So, okay. Yeah, that's a beautiful note to end on. Things will happen, but don't be afraid. It's all for the greater good, which is apply to everything, right? Okay. All right. 5:57, 2 hours almost on the dot. This was so great. I feel like this was, for me, it was exactly what I needed. It was all of the mental stuff with the feeling of we're really getting there. We're really getting there. So thank you so much to everybody who came and everyone who's watching in the future. Oh, I'm really excited. Okay, hold on. They just said this was a little on the vague, it's like a little on the vague end from their part because we've just barely had this shift lock in. Some of you haven't fully locked yet, and you will. It's not a time release. It's not like April 2nd at 9 a.m. or August. Some will still lock in. In the coming weeks, we will have much more knowing and be able to feel into what's coming. Right now, it's still in progress, but this is what they can show us based on where we're at and where we're going. So all good things. Okay, everybody. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you for being here. I was able to get to the chat a lot more because we didn't have as many people live, so that was fun. So thank you, everyone. The replay will be up, you know the drill. It should be sent to you soon. If not, and if you have any questions, please reach out to Laura, my support team, support@giaprism.com. And I love you all. See you later. Bye.